wherever you just joined, my name is Federica, part of the Docsity team, and it's my pleasure to welcome you all to this live webinar of Zaragoza Logistics Centers. And I leave now the floor to Marta, who will be starting with the presentation. And also we have with us Lilian. She's a current student at the university and will be able to answer all of the questions that you might have. So just put them into the Q&A box that you find in your Zoom window, and we will be able to answer them live at the end of the presentation. So Marta, I'll leave you the floor, and we look forward to receiving all of your questions.
Thank you so much, Federica. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on the location you're joining us from. As Federica said, so I'm Marta Romero. I'm the director of the International Master's Program at ZLC, and I'm lucky to have Lily with me today. She's a current student. I know that Lily is extremely busy at the moment. She was just telling us before that on Monday she had an exam, on Friday they have a thesis deliverable, next week they have some other exams, and they're getting ready also for the Christmas break because this period has been very intensive. So Lily, you want to go ahead and tell us a little bit more about yourself and why you joined the program?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Marta. Hello, everybody. My name is Lily. I'm from Mexico. I graduated from industrial engineering like 4 years ago. Then I did a master's in business administration because I think that's like some general knowledge that I wanted to get before knowing like specifically what master I wanted to do in. And I really fell in love with logistics, like working with my previous jobs. So when this opportunity came around, I just thought, what an amazing way to be able to be part of a MIT experience and also be in Europe at the same time. So combining those two and also with extremely high quality levels of teachers, professors, thesis projects we've had is just, I know I made the right choice. I'm excited for you guys to come here and check that out for yourselves.
Thank you, Lily. So let's start with the presentation. There's going to be plenty of information. So as Federica said, any questions, please drop them on the chat, and Lily and I will be happy to answer them depending on who you want the answer from. Okay. Okay, so I hope everybody can see the screen.
Yes, perfect.
The presentation is ready. Okay. So let's start by talking about the global scale network. So as you may know, we are part of this supply chain and logistics excellence network. This is the reason why all of us are here today. It's the affiliation with MIT and the reason why the Zaragoza Logistics Center was actually created. So CTL, the Center for Transportation and Logistics, is the program that we are affiliated with, and it was founded in 1973, as you can see on the screen. And ZLC has been functioning since 2003. I mean, how did this connection happen? Well, it happened at an event in the UK. It was Joshi Sheffi, who happens to be the director of the CTL, and the rector of the University of Zaragoza. They met, and Joshi told the rector, why don't you replicate what we have in MIT because of the strategic location of Zaragoza? And why not do programs? Why not do research? And this is actually how everything started. So more recently, as you can see, there's other centers around the world. So in 2008, a center opened in Colombia. The only difference between this center and the rest of the centers is that they do not offer master's program, they offer certificates. Then Malaysia opened in 2011, and then more recently, so 2 other centers joined. So another one in Europe, Luxembourg, and another one in China, in Ningbo in 2016. So, I mean, you can see on the screen the number of programs that are being taught in each program, the number of the researchers, corporate partners, and we work hand in hand. And as we will mention later, there is a time during the academic year with students from all the different centers get the possibility to spend time together. That is when we go to Boston in January. Then for those of you that are not familiar with Spain and with Zaragoza, so Zaragoza, for some, it's a big city. For other people, like students coming from India, it's almost a village. So Zaragoza has a population of 700 people. It's the 5th largest city of Spain, as you can see in the map. So it's strategically located. It's within 300 kilometers from Bilbao, Barcelona, Madrid, and also Valencia, which are the main cities of Spain. If you ask someone, we had a student last year from Sevilla, he said, well, that's to be debated whether Sevilla is bigger than Zaragoza or not. But as you can see, so it's Zaragoza you can also reach the main European cities. And Zaragoza, as I was mentioning, so 700 people, it's not that big, it's not that small. It's a friendly city. I mean, Lily has been living in Zaragoza since August. So maybe Lily, you want to tell them a bit more about what it's to live in Zaragoza, and also now that there are fewer restrictions.
Yeah, yes, of course. Well, for me, being from Mexico, if I put exactly this perspective back in Mexico City, I'm still in Mexico, right? In 1,500 kilometers. So for me, I was really excited to be, it's my first time in Europe. So I'm taking a lot of advantage of being really close to everything. I was just in Barcelona last week. Last month, I went to Lisbon. I've been to Madrid in only this time to Rioja. So this really gives you the opportunity to travel around. I mean, if you love to travel, believe me, this is the perfect spot for you. And yes, as Marta said, it's not a big city, but it's pretty much, you can walk around every place you want. I mean, you could go walk into school. I mean, maybe not now because it's really cold in the morning, but the bus, the tram will get you everywhere. So like transportation and movement around, it's really perfect. And also the people here are extremely nice. They're extremely nice. They would just talk to you as if they were your friends. If you ask them for directions, they might just go walking with you all the place where you need to go. So I think they have like a very warm, a very happy attitude. So it's really, really easy for you to get along with everybody here, either if it's on class or outside. It's really fun to get along with everybody. And what else? I think the city is also extremely safe. I can just walk around everywhere, go out with my friends and stay over at some friends stay here. It's just there's nothing I don't like about the city until now, and I hope I think it's gonna stay that way, but I just love it here. And also something really important is that I think it's way cheaper than other big cities such as Madrid or Barcelona. So you can have like the benefits of going there for the weekend, but having like a lower cost of living here. So yeah, for me, it's a really amazing place to live.
Okay, thanks, Lily. So if we move on, so the ZLC, Zaragoza Logistics Center, is actually a research and educational institute on supply chain management. It was created as the mission to be an international center of excellence, both in research and in education. So there's actually two things that we do at the center. So on the one hand is education. So we have the international programs we are going to talk to you about today. We also have a master that is part-time, that is taught in Spanish. We have executive education courses, and we have a PhD program. And on the other hand, we do have research. So the research department who work with our faculty members, and they have local, national, European projects, private, public, you name them. Our affiliation, of course, is to the University of Zaragoza, of course, because it's the granting degree institution, but also to MIT, because our students get to spend 3 weeks at MIT in January. These are some pictures of our brand new facilities. We moved here 3 years ago, so we barely used them because of the pandemic. The good thing is that although we started a hybrid this year because not everybody had the vaccines or the visa, we now managed to have all the students in class, so all the sessions are face-to-face or in person, which makes a difference when you come to a residential program, when you don't want to do some courses online. So for us, networking is key, and the students do not only just get to network in the classroom, but also outside of the classroom. And they have plenty of opportunities also to meet with their counterparts in January. So as you can see, this is brand new. There is a lot of light. As Lily was saying, it's very easy to reach. I mean, within 15, 20 minutes, you can be there by bike, you can be there by bus, by tram, you can walk. In rainy days like today, so Lily usually comes by bike, and she had to take the bus. So you need to plan better because Zaragoza is not prepared for rain. Zaragoza is a windy city, but you usually do not see much rain. For those of you who worry about how cold it can get, I mean, it's nothing compared to what we suffer in Boston in January. So, I mean, it's a regular temperature, like winter temperature. And we've been very lucky with the weather so far. It's not been very cold. Education, this is what I was mentioning to you. So Lily's promotion of the CLOC program is the promotion number 18. So the program has been taught for 18 years now. And the blended program is the 5th generation that we're going to welcome in January at MIT. Of course, we're very proud of the recognition that we're getting from our program. So this is mainly because of our students, our alumni, and the companies that we work with. So number 1 in Edu Universal, in supply chain management world as well. And we've been named number 1 in 11 consecutive years in El Mundo, which is a Spanish newspaper. So all of that is making us very proud. And as I said, it's thanks to everyone, actually. And Josie Sheffi, so if some of you are taking some of the online courses, you may have seen Josie. Josie is the founder of everything. So he's been in CTLs and Center for Transportation and Logistics at MIT since forever. And he's the one that comes up with all these programs and all these centers. And the good thing with Josie is that he knows that if he has something in mind, he can test it with Zaragoza and it's going to work. So when he decided to, why not offer some online courses and then do a MicroMaster and have a blended option that is going to allow for students not to be away from home or away from work for 10 months, but 5. Then he said, okay, let's launch it and let's have Zaragoza do it at the same time. So it works nicely. I mean, you can see what he had to say. And we will share this presentation with you later. The CLOC program, so then again, this is the residential program. It's super full-time. If you ask Lily, she can tell you that it's very intensive for sure. So it lasts, yeah, it's 10 months long. So it starts mid-August and finishes the first week in June. It's taught by international faculty, totally in English, and it's a small class size. So in Lily's class, we have 24 students from 11, 12 different nationalities. So for us, diversity is something which is key. I mean, we are not doing so well, you will see when we show you the profile in terms of ladies. And we hope that that will change maybe with you guys next year. And diversity is key. I mean, diversity in every way. No? This will be the structure of the program. So Lily, as you can see, this just is an example of your 10 months on paper. So we have some orientation at the beginning where we take the students out so that they can meet and get to know one another in a different context other than just being in the classroom. We have some preparatory sessions for math and finance because we don't have people from different backgrounds. And we also have some career workshops. That's at the very beginning. We are not focusing on the A term. So the A term, the focus is systems and methods. And these are some of the courses that the students are taking, which are fundamentals for supply chain that they will apply, of course, at the end of the program when they join a specific company, but who are also going to be applying it in the thesis projects that they're currently working on. Now, once we're done with this term, which will be just before the Christmas break, so the students will have a good 2.5 weeks of freedom and holidays where they can forget about how intensive the fall term was. And then we will convene at MIT. So we are lucky that this year we get to go to MIT because that wasn't the case last year. Although we are offering the possibility to students from last year to join us. Here, the focus is going to be leadership and management. There's a series of activities that are planned by our colleagues for the 3 weeks, which include Python, which is not so popular among the students, but also the Research Expo, which is the big event, the big networking event, where the students will get to present their project, their thesis project, but it's going to be very initial as the students start working on the projects in October and say they have to submit it by the end of There's going to be talks by MIT professors, by senior executives in supply chain from different multinationals. There's going to be leadership sessions. There's going to be also, what was I going to say? Leadership and simulation game, and there's going to be competition also challenges for the students. So this is a period the students are very much looking forward to go to. And then in the next slide, you will see why as well. And then when we come back from MIT, so there's going to be still some courses which are common to everyone, but that's also when we teach electives. So the electives, each student needs to take 2 to graduate from the program. But if we offer 4 or 5, the students can take them all, depending on how well they are doing with their thesis project and the other courses, because we don't want them to be overloaded. And also, we're going to leave some time because people start either traveling or doing interviews for jobs. So we're going to try not to have so many classes by the end. So this is a Scale Connect at MIT, and I know Lily and her classmates are very much looking forward to going. So which of the activities are you most attracted to? And we are still not sure everybody in the class will be able to go, because then again, as we mentioned, there is visa, and there is also whether you have the vaccine that it's been approved or not. But we are hopeful, and some of the students are getting their visa appointments as we speak. So fingers crossed that almost, if not everyone, almost everyone will be able to come.
Yes, and I'm not gonna lie, I think this is studying really at MIT is one of the things that has me the most excited about the program. I grew up with my dad telling me that MIT is the best university in the world. Like since I was a little kid, like I remember him saying that. So being part only of this program, right, which is like an MIT extension, as you said, and then also having the opportunity to study there and have like all this networking with all this diversity and all the Scale Network students that are going to be from Luxembourg, from Colombia, and also from MIT is just going to be, I think, once in a lifetime opportunity, right? To present your thesis project and have input from all these very valuable opinion of executives, of professors. And I'm just really, really excited to be there and having like all these activities, the research, the talks. I mean, Python, I'm interested in Python, but I'm really looking forward to it. But no, yeah, everything here is just, I'm really looking forward to it, right? I'll tell you all the details when we come back from MIT.
Yeah, well, on the picture you can see, the big group there is the class of 2020. So when we were there, they were actually starting talking about this COVID in China. And we thought, oh my God, this is never gonna get to Europe. This is not happening. This thing will go away. And as you can see, didn't go away, it's still not gone away. On the bottom, you have 2 ladies. We are very proud of them because they are graduates of the ZLC program. And that particular year, you get prizes for your posters, so for Research Expo. And they won the best poster overall. So not only we are proud because it was a ZLC project, but also because it was a female team. Then on the top, we have one of the speakers who came from Adidas to give a talk about their company and the challenges they were facing in their supply chain. And at the bottom, again, if you're seeing some of these people, so Chris Kaplis is also very much involved in the online courses. Katie Date and also Josue, who has now moved to research. He's also from Mexico, Lily. Experiential learning, so besides all the courses that the students have, the students get to work on a thesis project. The thesis project, it's important that I mention, so it's not that the students come up with an idea they would like to research on. So we do a work of getting in touch with different multinationals to come up with a project. So then again, it's a real life supply chain problem that the companies are facing. What we do is try to get all the information during the summer so that we can get the companies to come and present the projects to the students in September. That would be the process. By that time, so with our colleagues in the ZLC team, in the corporate relations manager, we would have put together the resume book with a template that has the Scale Network details. And we give the opportunity to these companies to either select students from the resume book that we are going to share with them, to either tell us, okay, I'm ready to interview anyone who's interested in my project, or with companies with whom we've worked for many years now. They're happy, like, okay, we know that your students are very talented, so you just assign me to students and I'm happy to work with whomever you tell me. So the students, of course, on the other hand, get to send us their vote as well, as which projects are more interested in, the projects they are not so interested in. And then we try to make magic happen. And sometimes it's easier than other times. I think that this year everybody was happy with the allocation. So it will be 2 or 3 students working on a project. We will assign one of our faculty members. And the idea is that students have their kickoff meeting with the companies, usually first week of October. And students and the companies will decide, what will be the mode of communication with the companies, whether it's going to be weekly, bi-weekly. For example, Lily and her colleague were able to visit the facilities not recently. And maybe, Lily, you want to tell us more, not only about this trip, but also what kind of project you're doing. Of course, we cannot give any names because these are confidential, even though you're going to see some logos afterwards, and maybe you can pick up which company she may be working for. But just to give you an idea of the challenge of the project.
Yeah, exactly. And just as Marta said, there are so many topics. It's the first time I do a thesis for my part, and there were I think there were like, I don't know, 13 companies for this period we had. And each company had their own real problem that was going on at that moment. And they were trusting us to basically solve it, right? To give them like a really bright solution. So there were very different topics, from inventory, from transportation, to reverse logistics, to digital transformation, some of them even including artificial intelligence, like in a bit. So it was just like a lot of variety, because as she said, we have different backgrounds, so we have different interests. So really, she did magic assigning us to our project, because each of us was happy with one project, and it was it's very challenging, right? Because you have your classes, you have your topics, but at the end, to apply them in a company, that's where you really learn how to use all your material, all your background, to talk with the people and everything. Especially my project, it's focused on reverse logistics. So I'm have to design a network optimization system, where we have to do reverse logistics so that the company can be able to recover all the used packages they have in thousands of ports worldwide. So it's going to be an interesting network design to do there.
Great, thanks, Lily. So here you can see our academic partners. So this is what we call Zaragoza Academic Partners. We launched the program back in 2008, 2009 for that promotion. And we've worked with over 40 companies, some of which we've had 10, 11 projects so far. So every year when we reach out to them, it's like, yeah, definitely. We have another challenging project for your students and your advisor. And we're sure that you can come up with a good model, with a good solution, with a good strategy. So as you can see, these are renowned companies, some of which are in Gartner's 25 top supply chain. So we're very happy also to be working together with these companies on developing the thesis projects for our students.
Yeah, and also they know that we get such good quality education, that all the quality from MIT, we have it here too. So they don't think that they give us small projects. They are really big impact projects in their own companies, that companies nowadays are still actually using results or solutions from previous thesis projects. So it's really it's very complex and very great opportunity to work on that and be able to give the company a solution as you and your colleagues work on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When we talk about career opportunities, so while a couple of years ago, as you can all figure out, everything froze and like nobody was hiring and nobody knew what was going on, it looks like things are looking way better now. We do tell our students that the responsibility of finding a job resides in the student, but it's true that we have a person in the team that is going to help the students. So in the resume creation, mock interviews, and also because we have a good database of companies with whom we have worked in the past and where our alumni are working, that decide to either come or give a presentation online. Now that we can do these presentations online, so we do them by Zoom or even interviews afterwards. And also we ask the students, what are your plans for after you graduate from the program? So in any way, we are going to try and help the students in their development, career development, and in bringing contact. So in fact, this isn't mentioned in the presentation, but the students this year are doing a great job. Last year, the ladies in the class created the Women in Supply Chain Club, which our students picked this year. And they're bringing speakers together with the Supply Chain Club. And already by talking to these wonderful female in supply chain and also some of the male speakers, we are looking at potential recruitment opportunities for our students. So not only the students are to be thankful, but also our speakers, because they really saw by coming to the center what it was about. And wow, yes, maybe we need to take this program into consideration. And whenever we have the opportunity, try to talk to them first, because we know that maybe we can find someone like Lily who we will be lucky to have in our company.
Yeah, and also, as you were mentioning, diversity is super important. So not only outside with another company, but with our classmates. Like we have classmates that have a lot of experience in their job. So you might be hired by your classmate, right? Or somebody you meet at MIT with all the other students you meet. So there's just the network here is super important, not only in ZLC, but also going to MIT is just a basic foundation for everything. It's just really helpful all the way.
Yeah. And the possibilities of networking are endless. I mean, so you network with your classmates, you network with your peers, with your faculty members, you network with the speakers, you network with the Scale Network, you network with the participants of the Research Expo who are going to be executives. So the key word is networking. Okay, and this is Dipakshi. So Dipakshi graduated last year, and she's currently working for Pfizer in India. And as you can see, well, she says that coming to CELOC was one of the best decisions of her life, right? We're very happy that she got the job that she wanted back in India. And we're happy also when our alumni come and see us. The other day we had a visitor, so he was actually on vacation, and he came to give a talk to the students and to tell them more about the recruitment process. So this is also something that we're happy that our alumni are doing, because it's true that the program is small. So it's not like a big MBA program where there are 1,000 students. So this is tiny if you compare it to that. But the difference is that there is a sense of community, there is a sense of family. The alumni are the best ambassadors of the program, right? This is what I was saying. So this is the student profile. I mean, these figures can be misleading, of course, because this is the current year. So it's true that a big percentage of the class have an engineering background, while only 20% come from business or economics, and then other disciplines. I mentioned the gender. So, I mean, yes, the women attending this seminar today, this webinar, do apply. Supply chain is not for male only, it's for male and female. As I mentioned, so 13 countries, excuse me, are represented. The average age is 31, but this I'm always saying that it can also be misleading, because we have people on both sides. I mean, people who are 22, 23, sorry, 22, 23 with a little work experience, as well as people with over 20 years of work experience. So as Lily was saying, try to make the most of this, that there's people with such an enriching professional life, and also the people who have a senior profile and who have not been taking classes for many years now. They can get the help from the students who are fresh out of college, right? And the average could be 7 years of experience. Then again, it can be 2, 3, and it can be 20. When we talk about the admissions deadline, so we passed the first round deadline, and we're actually reviewing applications as we speak, and we're going to communicate our decisions by next week. The second round deadline is January 31st, and the third round deadline is March 28th. If you are applying only for CLOG, we can come back to you with a decision within 10 days. If you're applying to multiple programs, like if you're applying to the program at MIT, Luxembourg, China, then we need 4 weeks to get back to you after the deadline. And all the centers will communicate the decisions the same day, although separately. After the third round deadline, we proceed with what we call rolling admissions. So the key dates will be, if you're an international student who is going to need a visa to come to Spain, you will not be able to apply any later than June 1st. If you're a European student, we put down here July 15, but it's actually end of July, even first week of August. I mean, if someone is interested in joining the program and finds out about the program 1 week before the start, but can join in a matter of 1-2 days, we're going to accept that application. This would be the application requirements that you will see. So there is a platform which is common to everyone, which is Grad Apply. So you will have to upload the application form with a statement of objectives, your resume. If you do not have an engineering degree, but you can prove, show proof of excellent analytical skills, analytical and quantitative skills, we can consider waiving the Gmat, GRE, or SEOX tests, which are tests that are going to help us assess your quantitative skills. Same goes for English. If you're not a native speaker, then TOEFL, IELTS, Cambridge, any other test that is recognized. We also ask for your transcripts and diploma, 2 letters of recommendation. And here we usually ask if it can be a combination of 1 from academia and 1 from industry, but then again, it's going to depend on your age. So if you've been working for many years, maybe your professors, you don't know what they're doing and they don't remember you anymore. So 2 from industry. If you have maybe 6 to 1 year experience and you have a supervisor, maybe 2 from your professors. And then the last one will be a video statement. So the video statement, it's helpful to us if we cannot see you, because I mean, if you're around, if you're in Europe, we're more than happy to welcome you on campus so that you can attend the sessions, so that you can meet with the current students, the staff, and the professors. But otherwise, the video statement helps us a lot to check your soft skills. So ideally, you have to be very natural when you're recording the sessions. You do not need to record the sessions right away. I mean, you can record them several times until you're happy with it. But we're looking authenticity as well. And you can tell actually when you're reading from the screen. So that doesn't help your case if you're reading line after line and yes, I want to do this, okay? This is what it looks like, the online application service, as I mentioned. So this is Grad Apply, which is a platform which is common to all the programs at MIT. Financial aid, we do have financial aid for the CLOG residential program. So we have partial scholarships that can amount to 80% of the tuition. And we also have a loan which is available that you can use for 70% of the tuition. Well, these are the scholarships that we offer. Lily was the recipient of a scholarship which is not included here, that was awarded from MIT. So you want to tell them a little bit more about this scholarship you got?
Yes, of course. This specific scholarship I have is from MIT, Supply Chain Excellence Award, it's called. It's a scholarship that MIT gives to, I think, to some universities in the USA, but also some universities in Mexico, like to both. So I was very lucky to be able to receive a scholarship for this program, and it was for any of the centers of MIT. They're here, Luxembourg, Colombia, but of course I was dying just to come here and visit. So I had that scholarship, and at the end, I think that when we want to take a step out of our comfort zone, like if we're working and we want to go on a master's program, we might always have a reason to say no, right? Like maybe I'm doing very well in my job, I want to stay here some years, or maybe my family, or maybe, I know there might always be something, but with this scholarship, like really makes you say like, this is the time. It's 2 days, so it really helps you a lot with all the living, and so you can really take your most and put it in on the academic into the quality of the education to travel around too if it's possible. So it's just really a great opportunity to take advantage of all this program, of all your classmates, of all the friends you're going to make here and visit. So I think it's a really great opportunity that if you have the chance, go visit all the scholarships that they have. I remember seeing all this on their webpage. So if you can apply to any of those, you can. It's going to be just a really great difference.
So yes, as you can see on the screen, there is one which is open to every admitted student. So that will be the supporting promising professionals in logistics and supply chain. The reduction in tuition is usually 25%. So once you receive your admission letter, if you're seeking for financial aid, you can apply for college. We have, for Spanish candidates, we have 2 scholarships available, which are sponsored by Aragona Plataforma Logística. So we have one which covers 25%, so it's a partial scholarship. And we also have a competition, so for students to write an essay on a specific topic. Here, the reduction in the tuition would be 80%. Then for other regions, we also have one which is specific for European students, one for African students, and we also have collaboration with FONED and MIT for Mexican students, where you can see also the reduction. So the good thing for those of you, like if you're Spanish, you can apply, as you can see, so you can apply for the Spanish citizen, for the master essay competition, for the European supply chain professional, for the supporting promising professional. I mean, the more scholarships that you apply for, the more possibilities that you will get into getting a partial scholarship. And also we have a women scholarship. This one is 50%. Which was awarded to one of the Lily's classmates. And we also have dual degree scholarship because we also have dual degree programs with some of the business schools. So that would be a combination of an MBA and the specialization in supply chain. And then if we talk about the other programs, so these students who we haven't met in person, are already working on their thesis project. So the big difference between the 2 programs, besides the duration of the program, is that these students, they need to come up with an idea of a thesis. So it's either with their company they're working at the moment, they can come up with an idea of a project, or it can be an entrepreneurship project. The idea is that all the students of both programs start working on their thesis at the same time. So that's October. And we will get to meet them in person at MIT, which is always very weird to meet them over there instead of meeting them in Zaragoza. So they will be with us for those 3 weeks, and then they will join the residential students for the last 4 months in Spain. So they will be together for those 5 months. This is the program structure. So the students will have completed 5 online courses and a comprehensive exam. So that will give them the accreditation of a MicroMaster. What you have to take into account is that if you haven't started taking any of these courses, completing the 5 online courses and the comprehensive exam can take up to 18 months. So each course is 12 weeks long. So once you do finish the MicroMaster is when you can apply for the blended program. And as you can see, so the B term and the C term are the same as the CLOP residential program. The student profile. So in previous year, we had more senior students in the blended program. Now the average is very similar. So then again, you can see 64% come from engineering, 21 from business and economics, 15 from other disciplines. They are doing it slightly better in terms of gender. And then of course, different 11 nationalities are represented. So here on this cohort, we have 12 students plus the 24 students that are in Lily's class. They bring 10 years of experience on average, and there are 34 years of age on average. Then again, so some are younger and some are more experienced. And this is Tai. So Tai, he came from Vietnam. And he got a better job working as a senior director of supply chain solutions in the company. He came, he actually had his project with Tiki Corporation, and the idea was always for him to come back to the company. Here we have different deadlines. So the first round deadline of the blended program is same as the second round deadline of the residential. And then we have a second round, which is June 20th. There are no rolling admissions. Also bear in mind that you can apply for both programs. So if you have completed all the courses, you have the MicroMaster accreditation, but you still hesitant as to whether you want to take the full-time program or the blended program. Know that on January 31st, you can take all the cases and apply for both. And also, let's hope that some of these activities that we've not been able to plan for the last couple of years, we're going to be able to do it. So there was a running team. We had different activities with the different programs, with the staff, with the professors. So hopefully this is coming back soon so that we can also do some network between the people who are at the center. And this is pretty much it. So now we are ready for your questions. So I'll hand it back to Federica.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Marta and Lillian, for the presentation. It's been great hearing from you. So we definitely received lots of questions, which I'm going through now. So they're asking us, in which stage of our career do you recommend this master? Basically, the main question is if his work experience is required, or if this is actually a master can be joined right after a degree.
Okay, so ideally, you should have a couple of years of work experience. It doesn't need to be related to supply chain, because then, of course, there are multiple graduate programs that are waiting to recruit students. And while you do not have experience in supply chain, they know that you've been taking a master in supply chain, and so that you have the tools already. It really depends on what stage in your life you are and what you want to do. We have people, so as I mentioned, over 20 years of experience wanting to do these masters for 5 years, and then decided, okay, this is the right time for me to do it. Other people, they decide right away. It's like, okay, I need this master to move up the ladder in my professional career. So it's really going to be when you decide it's the best time for you. I don't know, Lily, when did you decide that it was the right moment for you to do this master?
I think another advice I received was that going to your master once you know what area you want to specialize in, right? So as soon as I finished my university, I knew I wanted a supply chain, but I just wanted to get a little bit more experience just to make sure, right? Because at the end, it's a little bit different to know, like, from your classes and actually working from it. So I worked 2 or 3 years before I actually came here. But as you said, I have classmates that just finished university and they have experience maybe in internships they've done in university or stuff like that, that also helps them with their program. So don't be scared if you don't have any experience and you want to apply to our program, please do. But yeah, I mean, it's just like different kinds of experience. Like my classmates that have 30 years of experience in companies, they have a lot of real knowledge of how the operations work, but it's just different, and you're gonna learn a lot here.
Thank you. This is actually also answering another question from Victor, so we hope that this was clear enough, but if it wasn't, just drop us a message. Another question is about the city of Zaragoza. So they're asking us if it's a good city for family. So if someone, for example, would like to move over with a family, and if there is any sort of support, let's say an office that can help find accommodation or these sort of things to help in a daily life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's a very good question. We actually have a person in the team that helps the students. So not only with accommodation, which was of course key at the beginning. Now you come not only to a different city, but a different country. You feel a bit lost. We've been lucky in the sense that some of the apartments that we've been using for the last few years are rented to us, and students tend to rent them again. As for the question about bringing families, we had students coming with their families before. So rest assured, I mean, if you have kids and they need to go to school, so the coordinator of the program will ensure that your students can go to school, that they have the necessary papers to be enrolled, that you're some sort of declared in the city hall, and that you're here legally. So for that, no need to worry.
Yeah, it's a really great city. It's just very easy to move around, very friendly. If you have kids, it's really, really good place to be here with a family.
Perfect. Questions about internship. So they ask us if the programs that we presented today offer some sort of internship, and if you collaborate with some companies in Zaragoza, but also outside Spain. You mentioned some before, maybe if we can tell a little bit more about this.
Okay, so we do not have internships as such, because the master project, the thesis project, let's say that it's some sort of internship. I mean, it's not that you're going to be working to the company next door. I mean, you're working with multinationals who are located in different countries in Europe. But given that you meet regularly with the company for a period that goes from October to May, it can be considered an internship, but it's not an internship as such.
And in terms of like companies, do you have also companies outside Spain, or the main partner will be in Spain?
No, actually, our contacts are mainly in Europe, not so much in Spain.
Yeah.
The focus of the program is very international, so.
Perfect. More practical questions in terms of application. So you mentioned different rounds of application and applications deadline. They're asking us if there is any difference if you apply in the first, second, or third. So for example, could it be possible that on the third round, actually it won't happen because you already have all the programs full?
I mean, we do not have a quota per round. So we're going to look at each single application, and if we believe that that year we need to have 30 students in the class, then we will have 30 students. It's going to depend on quality. It is true that if you apply after the deadlines, if you intend to apply for financial aid, be careful that you do not miss any of the deadlines. Because as I mentioned before, you first need to be admitted to be able to apply. So have that in mind, that if somehow you miss the three route deadlines and you're applying during the rolling of the admissions, then you won't be able to apply for financial aid.
Perfect. So Marta, you said quality. So one of our students is actually asking us what make my admission chances higher. So what makes a good application? What's your sort of advice it makes to have an application stand out? And also maybe Lillian can then after add on her experience.
Yeah. Well, as I mentioned, so you saw the application requirements, and we take every aspect of the application requirements into consideration. So first of all, we need to see why. I mean, so the motivation, why do you want to do this program? So that we will be able to see it on the statement of the objectives. We do not have a weight per application material. So we really need to see something special on the candidate. So either it is the statement of objectives, it's an impressive resume, it is a brilliant student, he got the best recommendation from the CEO of the company, his personality, because we saw that with the soft skills on the video. So really it's a combination of all the application material, but we need to really see that the potential, and that you really want to do this master's and why you want to be enrolled in this master's, because it's selective, it's a small program. So as I mentioned, we only have 24 students in the class, and this year we received over 150 applications. So you need to stand out from the crowd, right?
Yeah.
Your advice? Yes, thank you.
Yeah, sorry. I think one advice I might give is for your resume, if you're like just graduated, maybe like me, you can put all the projects you've worked for also like in other companies from school. Like not because you're not graduated yet doesn't mean it's not experience. I mean, you gain experience from that, you work there. So just put all the projects which made you gain like insight and a lot of knowledge from the practical world, just put it out there, and your video be like as authentic as you can. Like, why do you truly want to be here? What do you want to share? What do you want to obtain? Like all those stuff, I think would be really important to share that knowledge with Marta.
Thank you. Gmat. So someone is asking us if Gmat is necessary for students that did not complete an engineering degree, if it's something mandatory.
It is. I mean, it's the only way that we can assess your analytical skills, and that's very important. I mean, Lily can attest to that, how the program is structured, and if you do not have the right skills, you will not be able to survive. So this is better for us to know during the admissions process rather than later if one student cannot cope with the level of difficulty of the classes that are taking place.
Perfect. And in terms of like certificate, you're asking us if an English proficiency certificate is also needed.
Mm-hmm. If not a native speaker, yes.
Okay, perfect. Another question for someone who is interested in applying and working while studying. Is it something that is possible, or is something that you actually not recommend?
I mean, it's not that I don't recommend, it's that first it's not feasible because of the number of hours that you need to dedicate to the program. I mean, Lily, jump in if you want to say how many hours you spend.
I don't want to scare them, you know, like they're on the right way. But yeah, I mean, we have classes, it's like, I don't know, like 5 hours of classes on average per day. And aside of that, you might spend 7 hours doing homework, studying for quizzes, cases. So it's just, it takes a big part of your day. And especially, for example, if you don't have an engineering background and you're struggling a little bit with math or statistics or that kind of stuff, of course, all of your classmates might be there to help you, but it just takes a lot more time to complete. So yeah, for me or my classmates, I see them and I don't think none of us could be working right now.
Yeah, so, and the second thing is that because you will be on the country on a student visa, you're not allowed to work.
Thank you. Another question. So we said before that you can join the program even if you don't have much work experience. Of course, it's something that adds on. They're asking us how someone could benefit from this program. So the main worry is being rejected in an interview for not having enough work experience. So how can a student benefit from this program rather than gain more work experience?
Okay, because I think I also mentioned that if you do not have experience, there's a lot of multinationals who offer graduate programs. So these are aimed to students who have little work experience. Sometimes it's close to none. It's true that we would not recommend for a student to apply right away if they do not have any experience at all. So at least you need to have 6 months experience to be in the program. But we have some of the companies we work with who are looking for mid-managers, senior managers, recent graduates. So that's really going to depend on your profile and what you want to do next. But don't be afraid about, okay, is this the right time for me to do this program? If you have a little work experience, then you can apply for the program and then the opportunities are going to come up.
Perfect, thank you. Talking about, so we said before Gmat is required if you don't have an engineering degree. Someone just says if SEO could also be acceptable instead.
Yeah, and in fact, sorry, Federica. In fact, we accept Gmat, GRE, and SEOX.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you.
Sorry,
go.
Just quick observation. I did, from my part, I did the SEOX course, and I think it gave me a lot of a refresh I needed from statistics. So I would really recommend to that course, even if you're planning on doing the GMAT, the SEOX course would be very helpful for you when you start your classes here.
So we have another question about international students. So they ask us, what's the procedure to join?
Okay.
If I guess probably just sort of how early should I put the document together and all the relevant information.
Okay, so once you are admitted to the program, so depending on when you apply, so this is why we have the recommendation about not applying before the last deadlines of the rolling admissions. That is because depending on where you come from, if you need to apply for a visa, it may take some time. So depending, Mexico, they are pretty good. US are pretty good. India, not so much. So it's going to depend. Sometimes it takes 2 months to get a visa. So you need to plan ahead. The documentation that they may require from you at the embassy or the consulate, we are going to submit. So you're going to have all the documentation ready. Sometimes it's good that you check the website in your country of origin to check the requirements, because they may vary a little bit from one country to another. But yeah, the idea would be that you put down all the paperwork to set up this appointment for the visa to come to Spain at least 2 months in advance of the start of the program. But I mean, you will be helped along the way. So anything that they require from you, we can prepare, and we'll try for it to be a smooth process.
Perfect. Couple of questions we mentioned in the presentation, and we also had a slide dedicated, but we had some questions regarding scholarships. So they're asking us if there is any sort of scholarship available for international students.
Yeah, that will be the general scholarship that anyone can apply for. I mean, the requirement is, of course, that you first need to be admitted to the program, but that is open to any student that is admitted, regardless of their nationality.
And just to clarify, if you're looking for financial aid, as Marta mentioned before, it's important that you apply as early as possible, not to miss these opportunities. So just check on the website all the deadlines. Then we had another question in terms of dual program. Is asking if you actually managing the dual program, the MBA and the supply chain management one. So if you also take.
Okay, so we do have, as I mentioned, dual degree program. So with Instituto de Empresa, with Sabancı University in Turkey, with EBS in Germany, which one? INCAE in Costa Rica, and the admissions process are completely separate. However, if you apply for CELOC first and you give us permission, we can share your application materials with them, and the other way around. So say that you want to do Instituto de Empresa in Madrid, and you have already applied, and then you want to do CELOC afterwards, you give permission to our colleagues in Instituto de Empresa, and they share the application materials. The decisions are communicated separately, so you may be accepted to both programs and then can be considered as a dual degree applicant, or maybe one of the institutions that does not admit you, and then you just need to choose whether you want to do the MBA or the logistics program.
Questions about after applying. So basically, if someone puts an application through, when they are expected to hear back from you guys? How long does it take?
So we're very fast if you're only applying to CELOC. So the admissions committee will get back to you once you put down your application. So within 10 days, we can communicate our decision to you. But if you're applying to multiple centers, then we need 4 weeks. So that would be 4 weeks after the deadline. So students who are already applying for the first round deadline. So as I mentioned, we're currently reviewing those applications. We'll get our decisions on November 29th. So they submitted their application on November 1st. So it's usually 4 weeks. And if you're applying to multiple centers, you will get multiple emails with multiple decisions. Perfect.
So we're coming towards the end of our presentation. And as you can see, there are the contact details in the slides, but we're also going to send you an email after this event, and it will include some relevant information about the programs. And also we are recording the session, so in case you missed some part and you want to rewatch it, there will be this opportunity. I just wanted to ask Marta and Lilian if there was anything else that you wanted to add. Of course, it's super hard to summarize everything in an hour webinar. You did great, but just in case if there was anything else that you wanted to add to whoever is listening to us today.
I will just say, do apply for the program. It's going to be challenging, but very rewarding.
Yes, definitely. I mean, it's for me, being a student right now, it's an experience that I know I will remember all my life. And also it's challenging in the way that gets you out of your comfort zone. You have projects, you have thesis, you have companies working for companies that they really make you get the best out of you. So I think you're going to get a lot out of this, even if you just graduated or you have 15, 20, 30 years of experience. I think this will boost your professional career.
Thank you. We have just a couple of questions more, and I really want to take just a minute of your time more. They're asking us if more or less we can give an idea of how many days a week the classes are held, and if in case of potential lockdown, there is the opportunity to combine in-presence and online classes.
Okay, no, so at the beginning of the academic year, I tell the students that the calendar is very dynamic. That means, and we say we own you from Monday to Friday. So the idea is, okay, if we have something unexpected, maybe a faculty member who was sick, so we're going to move the session to Friday. We try to leave Fridays open, but that doesn't mean that you're not expected to work. I mean, we will not schedule any sessions during the weekend. And as for the second question, let's hope that we do not go back to any lockdowns or with partial restrictions or going hybrid, but we're fully prepared because when the pandemic hit us so hard, so like most business schools, so we closed our offices on Friday, and on Monday we were transitioning to teaching online. Of course, that's not the idea of the residential program, and I think that that's something that the students who come to Zaragoza are not looking for. But of course, I mean, if there is something that it's beyond our control, we are fully prepared to teach our classes online.
Perfect, thank you. So really wanted to thank Marta and Lillian. If there was, let's say, any question that we didn't manage to answer, or if you want to find out more, you can see there is an email address that you can contact, and also after the event we will be sharing with you an email with all the applications, deadline information, and recording of the event. So really like to thank Marta and Lillian, and for whoever is interested in receiving a certificate of attendance, I'm just going to leave a link to a form. Just fill in the form and you'll be able to receive your certificate. So really, thank you so much. Thanks for your time. Thank you all for being connected, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Federica, for hosting our event once again. And Lily, thank you very much for your time, for being so generous. I know that you're super busy.
No, it was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
You too. Bye, everyone.
Bye.